And now we have to go to the next presentation. Thank you very much to all those that organized this part of the conference. Dr. Francesca Sibyl is part of the managing authority Interreg Slovenia with Bibica. Please, Dr. Sibyl, the title is The Opportunity of the New Programming Period Italy-Slovenia 21-27 for the program area. Good afternoon, everybody. Well, I have to draw your attention somehow, but I'll attempt to be as quick as possible. I hope you can hear me. I will provide you with the most important information with reference to the programming for period 21-27. You have already received a few important information this morning by my colleague, simply to tell you that the program area remains exactly the same. As you can see on the slide, the same regions and the same provinces, with a very minor change for the capitalization call. I will tell you more in a moment. This is the program area. My slide disappeared.
Scusate, ecco. Questo invece è quello che sono, diciamo, le differenze di budget tra la precedente.
These are budget differences. In the period 14-20, there was a co-financing rate of 85%. We have 77 million euro for a total of 92, including the co-financing, national co-financing. In this program and period, the figures are very similar, something a bit less actually. So for a total of 88 million. So that's the total with co-financing. This is another slide which has already been presented this morning by colleague Vecchiato, so I will not dwell upon it. Also because with your quiz, you have identified the policy objectives, the specific objectives, so I'm sure that you have already learned a lot. Nevertheless, the program contributes to the policy objectives number 1, 2, 4, and 1, 2, 4, and with different priorities, and which are specific objectives that will then be better explained when talking about the type of projects and calls. Now, let's move on to the next slide. I skip one. The types of projects that have already been mentioned several times during the day, starting from the standard projects. The standard projects are bottom-up in their approach, so these are initiatives starting from the territory. They are then developed and presented with open calls, all areas, and there is no specific definition in terms of size, partnership, or duration. Then there's the capitalization call. It's a mixed approach, bottom-up and top-down, again based on open calls for all the aspects and also covering all the areas. No specific definitions, with the exception of a couple that I will tell you in a moment. And strategic projects, already mentioned, 3 strategic projects that have already been defined and specified in Annex 3 of the Interreg program. These are projects that have a specific strategic importance for the development of the territory from the point of view of nature, landscape, etc.
declinati di cui uno in particolare che si ricollega ai progetti appunto del flagship delle macrostrategie USAID prossimo all'uscita, alla presentazione e all'avvio. Abbiamo come novità in questo caso
Then something very innovative are the people-to-people projects. These people-to-people in line with Article 24 of the Interreg regulations. These are exchange of activities, networking to overcome geographical, cultural, linguistic obstacles in the territory, maximum duration 12 months, and range from 30,000 to 100,000, co-financing ERDF. And then the Small Project Fund, SPF. This operation will be entirely managed by the EGTC Go as sole beneficiary, and there will be the yearly publication of calls for very small projects, starting from a bottom-up approach, so the needs of the territory, with specific objective 4.6, culture and sustainable tourism. More in detail now. What we have established for the 3 strategic objectives. Adrian Cycle Tour. It's a strategic project, just like the other 2, is based on a budget ERDF 3.5 million, 36 months. Of course, the macro strategy EU Zaire, Region Friuli Venezia Giulia, Central Direction for Infrastructure and Territory. The start of the project is expected is forthcoming. It will be either October or November of this year. Then classical karst area, SO 2.7. The lead partner is the Regional Development Agency Karst and Burkini in Slovenia. This project is intended to promote a slow and sustainable development of the classical karst, by promoting especially the historical, environmental and landscape resources, to take stock of the results, to capitalize on the results, because if you remember, in the programming period 7-13, there was a project on classical karst, which was also based on the same project. So again, reference is made to the importance on capitalization, so continuation and treasure good results. And then strategic project Poseidon, which the lead partner will be Vigal in Region Veneto. It has to do with the sustainable development and the safeguard of natural resources and the environment, protection of the biodiversity, green infrastructure, and sustainable tourism.
In this slide here, you see the Small Project Fund in a summary.
Che ha visto
Here we There is also the participation by the EGCT Gorizia. To understand which activities could be implemented through this operation, we decided to finance this type of project through an operation completely managed by the EGTC Gorizia for the European Capital City of Culture. EGTC Gorizia, Capital City of Culture, is the project. In line with Article 24 and 25 of the Interreg regulation, it was decided to co-finance certain bottom-up projects through yearly calls with the sole beneficiary for the EGTC, with no link with the Integrated Territorial Investment Project. It is the ETGC that manages the fund directly on behalf of the managing authority. Total budget 8 million or slightly more, and ERDF co-financing for 6.5 million. More in details for the capitalization call. I've prepared more than one slide in this case because this is not a new category. It was already present in the previous programming period, but here we have more specific features, also based on what we understood after various meetings with Interact. For the capitalization call, what is important is to draw inspiration from past experiences with the standard projects and ITI projects that were financed in the previous programming period, and to further disseminate the results of those actions with the new programming period through follow-up actions, the empowerment of outputs, transferability or reuse of the results, and targeted actions through communication efforts and visibility interventions. The cap call is going to be open to all beneficiaries, from the previous programming period's project, both concluded projects and ongoing ones, and also to future applicants of the program area. Each project will develop one specific objective. They're all included with the only exception of the ISO-C, and the results and the outputs must be clearly defined in Annexes 6A and B of the application form of that call. There is a sign of danger here, a warning. Takers versus givers. I'll tell you what takers and givers mean. But first, let me say that capitalization projects will last at most 2 years, and the calls is 15 million euros. Giver and taker. Why this warning, because we have to understand exactly the type of beneficiaries and applicants that will be able to participate in these calls. First of all, the project partners shall be minimum 4, maximum 6, and this is mandatory, at least one partner per member state, and one project partner already benefiting from funding in the previous programming period, and that's a giver. So that's a project partner that owns the outputs that have to be capitalized with the new partnerships. And the partnership also has to include one project partner which is identified as a taker. Who is the taker? The taker is the project partner interesting in enhancing the outputs already obtained by the giver. So really, when you write your application, you really have to study the call very carefully, and it will take you 1 month to prepare your proposal. Now, the taker is interested in receiving the giver's outputs to replicate them, transfer them, improve them, and they are going to be new partners coming from the program area. As for the giver, it could be a lead partner or a PP or an associated partner who already received funding in the previous programming period. And he must come from the program area. As for the project partner or the associated partner, always identified as a giver, he shall come from the program area, but also from the following NUTS2 regions. For instance, for Veneto, he can come from Belluno, Padova, but also from the eastern part of Slovenia. Celje, Maribor, the eastern part of Slovenia. This is one detail more that you have to be careful with to be able to participate in the call. And I'd like to conclude with the people-to-people projects. A clearer example will be provided by Elena Bibica from CERV. She will take the floor after me. The people-to-people projects include activities like exchange of work practices, exchange of experiences. The partnership can be smaller. The project may last up to 12 months maximum, and the amount, the budget is 30,000 to 100,000 euros from the ERDF. And then the very last slide, the deadline of the next call. Soon, but I won't tell you which day or which month. Very soon you'll have the call of capitalization. It's going to come out very soon, very soon. And very soon you will also have the start of the strategic project Adriacycle Tour. It's probably going to be October 2022. And then, by the end of the year, we don't know whether November or later, you'll have the first call for the small project funds projects, directly managed by the EGTC Go. I think I've concluded my presentation. Thank you for your patience, and I give the floor to Nena Bibica from CERV, and she will talk to you about the opportunities of the people-to-people projects.
Dober dan, lepo pozdravljeni. Zdaj, jaz vem, da sem zadnja.
Good evening. I'm the last speaker. I am the only one keeping you from having a stroll outside, so I'll be as short as possible. I represent the CERV program, Citizens, Equality, Rights and Values. We might go on talking about the program as we've been talking all day long for these Italy-Slovenia Interreg. We're very happy to be able to talk to you about how to capitalize outputs within Interreg, but not just Interreg. CERV is a very interesting program of great interest for many organizations. It entails an upgrade of many content not dwelt with by the Italy-Slovenia Interreg program. It could be of interest for cross-border partnerships. CERV is subdivided into 4 different axes. This is the former Europe for the Citizens program. It is an exchange of good practices. It could be small projects or larger projects up to 700,000 euros. It depends on the call, but they are financed on a lump sum basis. And they want to obtain the active participation of citizens. Citizens are proactively involved to participate in the definition of European policies, and the same holds true for twinning projects between cities. A third group of projects has to do with the projects aiming at preserving the memory of the past to avoid repeating the mistakes of the past. And this is perhaps as part of the people-to-people project that also includes priorities that are similar to the Interreg program. We have a priority for values and rights, and then collaboration. As for values, we have the founding values of the European Union. In the call, mention was made, for instance, of those projects on the development of certain regions, and through capacity building, even small organizations can be encouraged to participate to more complex programs like Interreg. As for right and equality, we are fighting against all forms of discrimination. So equality as far as sex, gender, race are concerned. We support the rights of children. We have actions that we take each year in favor of children and disabled people. Attention is devoted to equal opportunities. Each year there is a call promoting gender equality in all sectors. In the workplace, we have projects against hate speech on social media. So this is a horizontal priority that is also to be found in the Interreg program, gender equality and non-discrimination. This is an umbrella program, as it were. And then there is another priority that has to do with the fight against violence, combating violence with a special focus on family violence, support to the victims of violence through various programs. helping the victims to overcome their traumas. It depends when the calls are going to be published. After the adoption of the 2-year program of the SERV program, because SERV is a biennial program, there are calls every 3 months, quarterly calls from 2022 to 2024, and a whole series of priorities. And this is a great advantage for the beneficiaries, because already this year you'll be able to know that January next year there's going to be a call you're interested in, and you'll have a year to get organized with a partnership to submit a good project. This is a very reactive program because it reacts to the stimuli, to the hints coming from the society at large. We try especially to mitigate the negative impact of the war in Ukraine. There have been many projects recently concerning the effects of the COVID pandemic. So it's very much topical issues that we deal with. And each year we publish about 9 calls. So please read each call carefully, understand who the beneficiaries are going to be for each call. In any case, within each call, there are many potential beneficiary institutions, organizations, non-profit organizations, and there are 6 countries involved who are negotiating their accession to the European Union, belonging to the Western Balkans. So in the next calls, you might have partners coming from these accession countries as well. Now, this is very briefly a general framework for the SERV program. I would still have 15 minutes of my contribution if you're interested. We are a contact point for Slovenia. There is still no national contact point. I know it is going to be arranged this year, but you Italian partners interested in participating are more than welcome to contact us or any of the other 19 contact points in Europe. As long as we don't have national contact points, it's going to be us to explain to you, to attract as many beneficiaries as possible from the whole of Europe. So if you need me, I'm still here for 15 minutes. I can answer to you in Italian, in Slovene, or in English. So get in touch with me. You're more than welcome. I hope I'll be able to meet you on the occasion of another event that we'll organize within the CERV program. Thank you.